Lights, camera, rolling, action.
Good morning, Vietnam!
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
He's looking at you, kid.
Say hello to my little friend!
Hi, this is Joe, and this is the Filmjoe podcast, where film talk happens.
1, 2, 3, 4!
Hi, I'm Joe, your host, and I'm here with Daisy.
Hello.
And welcome to the podcast where we talk about films, filmmakers, trends, the good, the bad, and the not so bad, all in the spirit and for the love of film. So this week is a very special episode. We are putting the spotlight on the legendary Donald Sutherland. And as you all know, unfortunately, we lost him just recently on the 20th of June at the age of 88. So we here at the Filmjoe podcast wanted to pay tribute to an amazing and prolific actor with almost 200 acting credits.
Wow, really?
Yeah, man's been busy. I mean, almost close to, basically 6 decades, almost 60 years. He's done a lot of amazing films in his lifetime. So definitely as an actor, a life well lived.
Absolutely amazing.
Yes, and especially with these two films we got of his. Wow. All right. So, but before we continue here, let's remind everybody we're not professional film critics. We're far from. We just love to talk film, and what we have here are basically our opinions, and we
just like to have fun.
Yeah, exactly, and talk about what we love, basically.
Exactly.
All righty. So now, before we move on any further, usually we give a rating on a scale of 1 to 10. Something based on the movie or the theme or whatever. But being that this is Donald Sutherland, a true star, well, we're going to rate these on a scale of 1 to 10 stars.
Yes, very appropriate.
Very much so. And so that's what we're going to go with. So check this out. I just went to go see a film called The Bike Riders.
Okay, how was that?
It was a damn good film. By the time this comes out, we would have already released a flash review on it. So as everybody would know by this point, we're time traveling here. So it hasn't happened, but it will happen by the time you hear this. Yeah. So, but it's a damn good film. It's a really good film. Two lead stars, Tom Hardy, who is absolutely amazing.
Really?
Yes, incredible. And Austin Butler, he melts the screen with his charm, charisma, and well, let's just put it this way. I'm a very straight man, okay? But if I were to go fucking gay for a day, that'd be my man right there.
Oh my God. Okay, I've never heard you do this. Wow.
I mean, he's a sexy motherfucker. No, but no, the guy has charm. I mean, on the screen, because he plays a biker back in the early 60s, part of a motorcycle club. And he kind of channels a little bit of Brando, a little bit of Elvis, a little bit of James Dean, and, the silent but strong kind of, mystery, tough guy.
Okay.
And he's amazing. He's the next big star, without a doubt. He's going places, this guy.
Oh, it sounds good.
Yeah, so it's a damn good film. It's kind of it immerses you in the experience of a motorcycle club in the early years, and it's based on a true story. So, but it's a damn good story, solid film. Yeah.
Oh, I love true stories.
Yeah, and so what have you? Checked anything out lately?
Have I? Oh, you know what? I don't know if I mentioned it before. I saw the first Omen. I don't know if I said that in the last pod.
I think you did, yeah.
I think I did. That was the last movie that I saw. Other than that, I mean, there are, there's a couple of movies that I'm looking forward to. And one of them, I don't know, it's kind of a guilty pleasure, really. I'm actually looking forward to Twisters.
You know what? I'm gonna make the same admission here.
Twisters that looks like fun.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. That's going to be a lot of fun. And you know what? What's the name of the guy? He was in Top
Glenn Powell.
Gun.
Glenn
Glenn
Powell.
Powell.
I'm following him. He's yippee-ki-yay. Damn.
Okay. So I
Volleyball
think
scene, man. Okay.
okay, it's get a little hot over there, right?
A little bit.
But he's got that charm, that arrogant charm.
Yes, that smirk, it's like, damn, he's cool.
Yeah, I think he's another one to watch out for in in the future. Definitely an amazing actor as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Yeah, so yeah, definitely. I'm probably going to see that in 4DX where the chairs rattle and they throw spit in your face or whatever or
That's cool though. I would definitely do that. I forgot what that was called, but 4DX or some shit like that.
Yeah. I think they had that out here at Universal Studios for Shrek.
Yeah, I was too poor to afford that.
Well, I went one time. Yeah, I went broke. I went one time. It's expensive as hell to go there.
Is it really?
Oh, it is. It is. And guess what I got in the mail?
I don't know.
I got my Comic-Con San Diego tickets in the mail.
Somebody's got a nerd out.
Oh yeah. So that's going to be a blast. I can't wait to go. I'm ready. I'm just going to buy a bunch of figures and stuff. Lots
of pictures.
Yes, I'm going to take a lot of pictures, and for everyone, I'm going to post them on Instagram and see if I can get some interviews out there as well with some superheroes and stuff. Who knows?
Oh man, that is so cool. I've always wanted to go. I can't deal with the crowds.
Yeah, especially this Comic-Con. If I'm not mistaken, it's one of the most famous Comic-Cons in the world, the most popular ones.
I don't know about in the world, but yeah, it is very, very well known.
Yeah, and in fact, the two top ones are San Diego and New York.
Oh really?
Yeah, so I think it's this year for you guys because you're on the East Coast. So I think it's October.
See, you say December. I'm not traveling anywhere in fucking December.
No, you're gonna be snowed in.
It's snow. I'm still a California girl. I don't know if I can drive in that shit.
Yeah, and I just got tickets for because Columbia is celebrating Columbia Pictures their 100th anniversary.
Oh, okay, cool.
And to commemorate this, they're releasing in the theaters for just 2 days, Close Encounters of the Third Kind on the big screen.
Oh man, I love that movie. That movie, it's one of my comfort movies.
It's amazing. In fact, really by the time this episode airs, I haven't seen it yet. So, because it's
no time traveling on that one.
No time traveling. That's still in the future on the 7th. So that's exciting. I can't wait to see that. I mean, I was going to the movies in the theaters at that time. I was a kid, and but I didn't see that one in the theater, and I would have loved to. So that's gonna be exciting.
You were still very young. I mean, I wasn't even born when that movie came out, so you were like about 7.
No, it was 77, so I was 9 years old.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah. So you weren't born yet. So that's going to be exciting. I can't wait for that. Again, one of my all-time favorite movies. It's one of those movies that it demands that you have to see it on the big screen.
Definitely, and I think it still holds up.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, I did a UFO episode. I think it was season 1, where I discussed the origin of the film Close Encounters of the Third Kind. So for those of you who have not heard it, I believe it's season 1. It's called The Alien Factor. So check it out. It's a very interesting story for Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Interesting.
Very interesting. All kinds of conspiracies. And another little tidbit here, Nosferatu, the trailer just came out.
I saw that. That shit looks wicked freaking cool.
Oh, I'm a huge fan of the original 1922 German silent film.
I think it was beautiful.
Oh, it's a beautiful film. And again, on a vampire episode that we did, we discussed the history of Nosferatu. So listeners, a little time travel back, you can check that episode out as well.
Yes.
Little shameless plug for our own show. So why not?
Why not?
Why not? But yeah, Nosferatu is directed by oh gosh, what's his name? Okay, I'm gonna have to go on the internet here and find out.
That's what it's for, man.
That's what it's for. Nosferatu 2024.
Robert Eggers.
Oh, Robert Eggers. Okay, yeah. So Robert Eggers directed this, and he did some really good films. He did a movie called The Lighthouse with Patterson and Willem Dafoe.
I
Which
don't think
was
I've seen that.
yeah, it's a pretty strange film, black and white, pretty weird. It's a damn good film. He also did a film called Eggers. He did a film called The Northman, which is really good, like a Viking film, which is really yeah. And but, I mean, he's known for attention to detail, historical authenticity, things of that nature.
That Viking movie, was that with Alexander Skarsgård?
It might have been. Those Scots cards are everywhere.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I believe so. I'm not sure. I have to look that up as well. But so the guy's good, and the cast, the fucking cast. You got Lily Rose Depp, Johnny Depp's daughter.
No way.
She's in it.
Nice.
Yeah, and she's playing the part of Ellen Hunter. I can't spell for shit. Ellen Hunter. Reading my own fucking notes backwards and shit. Okay. Yeah, she plays Ellen Hunter, who basically is the role of Mina Harker from the original Dracula.
Okay.
Nicholas Holt, he plays Thomas Hutter.
You can't read, dude. What's wrong with you?
I can't fucking read today. And he plays the Jonathan character, and of course, Bill Skarsgård plays Count
Nosferatu. Oh, really?
Nosferatu. His name is Count Orlok, and he's and I think Nosferatu is what they call a vampire, or the time. I don't know the exact history where that name comes from, even though I've seen the original a gazillion times.
Right.
Yeah, but and of course, and then just to top it all off, Willem Dafoe.
Oh, of course.
You can't beat that shit with a stick. I mean, that's amazing.
Exactly. Actually, I just looked it up. It's a archaic Romanian word synonymous with vampire.
Oh fuck! Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I did not know that. Yeah, and learn something new every day.
Google.
Wow. Google. Hey, Google. Yeah. Beverly Hills Cop is coming out on July 3rd.
Is it Netflix?
Netflix, and I am so stoked for it.
I'm. You know what? Though I'm worried. I want it to be so good. I remember when Coming to America Part 2 came out. I was so stoked for that. I was so disappointed. So I'm hoping and I'm praying that this is gonna live up to the original.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, Eddie Murphy was back and forth on the sequel for decades. He rejected tons of script, and he even said at one point, "I'm not doing it unless it's right." So hopefully that plays out that way.
I hope so. I really do, because I love that they brought back all the familiar faces from the original.
Yeah, so I'm really stoked. It comes out on the 3rd. I don't work on the 4th, so guess what I'm going to be doing?
Yeah, probably same thing that I'm going to be doing.
Watching Beverly Hills Cop, Axel Foley.
That is going to be so freaking awesome.
Hell yeah. So, all right. So what do you say we jump into this episode?
All right, let's go. Let's jump.
All right, let's jump away. So again, we're talking about the late, great Donald Sutherland, who passed away recently. He was born Donald McNichol Sutherland. He was a Canadian actor, born and raised in Canada. Had a career spanning 6 decades. Numerous accolades, Primetime Emmy Awards, 2 Golden Globes, BAFTA Awards. And he was considered one of the best actors never nominated for an Academy Award.
No way.
Yeah. And he was given an honorary award in 2017, but they should give it to him. I mean, there was dozens of films that could have given it to him for. I mean, even as a supporting actor in JFK, Backdraft.
Take your pick.
Yeah, take your pick. Fucking, Ordinary People with Mary Tyler Moore. That was an amazing performance that he did. So yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen a movie where he was horrible.
No. I mean, even films that you go, okay, didn't care much for the film, or it was, but he always stood out.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, and so he rose to fame in the late '60s, early '70s with several war-themed films. He was in The Dirty Dozen in
Hmm.
1967. He was in MASH 1970. Oh, Kelly's Heroes 1970 with
Hmm.
who was that? Clint Eastwood, Telly Savalas. Great fucking movie. 1971. Clute, which is a murder mystery. Did Don't Look Now, Animal House, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I mean, and so forth and so forth. Just these amazing, amazing films that's just they're timeless. He on television. He was on he was a HBO film called Citizen X, which
Uh-huh.
is about. Yeah, have you seen this, by the way?
No, I haven't.
Look it up. It's on HBO Max,
Hmm.
and it's about a serial killer in the Soviet Union. True story.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if it was their first serial killer, but it was the most noted one. And he plays, I believe, a cop or something, or a detective, and just an incredible performance overall.
Wow. Another movie that I really liked him in was A Time to Kill.
Oh, geez. Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
He actually his son was in that movie as well.
Yeah, that's right. He was. He was the one of the
KKK?
rapists.
No, he was one of the ones that revived the KKK.
Oh, fuck. I knew he was somebody despicable. Wow.
Yes, yes, definitely. Yeah, that's a hell of a good movie.
Now, for all of now for you kids listening who are wondering, well, who is this Donald Sutherland guy? He's President Snow in the Hunger Games.
Oh my god, he killed it with that one. He was such a good President Snow.
Oh yeah, he was. Again, anything he touched, he was just amazing. He was a great performer. And in 1978, he was inducted into the Canadian Walk of Fame, and in 2000, he was inducted into the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. And he's father of three, Kiefer, Rossif, and Angus, all actors as well.
Okay.
So just an amazing legacy. And so now enough of his bio, and we know who the man, the legend is. What do you say we get on with the show and talk about a couple of his awesome films?
Oh my god, yes, yes, yes.
All right, so let's do this. So for the first film, they're here. They're already here. You're next.
Like the others.
Elizabeth, wake up! Get you when you sleep. Sit up!
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
It's got no detail, no character. It's unformed.
All of a sudden, they're growing like parasites. Is it contagious? People are being duplicated.
How do you know my name? I didn't tell you my name.
Can't find anything in here that looks like a body. One side's nosebleed.
It looked right at me.
You're looking at it as if it was human. It was not human.
Now, the classic fear begins to grow
We're being cornered.
in a modern masterpiece of science fiction.
They're barricading the street.
When strange seeds drift to Earth from outer space, mysterious pods start to grow and invade San Francisco, replicating the city's residents one at a time. The film we are talking about is Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 1978, and it is directed by Philip Kaufman. The film stars, of course, Donald Sutherland, Brooke Adams, Jeff Goldblum, Veronica Cartwright, and Leonard Spock Nimoy. Nice cast.
Excellent cast.
Yeah, and amazing. And I didn't realize until I saw this, Brooke Adams, one of my childhood crushes. I had a huge crush on Brooke Adams when I was a
Oh
kid.
wow.
Yeah, and she's fantastic. I mean, you know what? Everybody turned in a great performance in this.
They really did. That was just, oh my god. It was such
Yeah,
a cool movie. And actually, I want to say this was not my first time, but it was my second time watching it, and it's a freaking awesome movie.
Oh, it is. It is. I love the concept of the alien invasion itself. That through microscopic spores and all that. And that's a theory that actually exists. That is supported by many scientists today. I mean,
Mhm.
not that they snatch your body and shit. I mean, that's a bit far fetched, but
That would be fucked up.
that would be fucked up. I mean, just watch the movie. I mean, that's some fucked up, repugnant shit. But yeah, so I mean, that alone is just a creepy concept.
Getting
I just
attacked by
love it.
space boogers.
Yeah. Oh, so what
That's
was
what they
so
were. They were space boogers.
space snot?
Yes. Yeah.
Not meteor shit.
Meteor shit.
Only you hardcore horror fans will know what we're talking about when we say meteor shit.
Oh shit, man! Look it up, man. Look it up. Google.
Yeah, look it up. Google. There you go. So, what were your takes on this? Not well. It's your second time.
It's my second time watching it, and yeah, I mean, the paranoia that goes through you is like, you're constantly suspecting. Oh my god, is he one of us? It's has he been taken over? Because you can't tell. It's really freaky. And the fact that nobody believes this group of people. It's
Yeah.
oh my god.
Well, you know what? I mean, this is my first viewing ever. I mean, well, I'm not going to say that because I did see it when I was a kid. I was about 10 years old. Well, about 11. And I really didn't get it. I was playing with my G.I. Joes and shit and watching the movie and just fucking around. So I really didn't pay much attention to it. So this is really my first time watching it. And I cannot believe that this is the first film in decades that actually freaked me out.
Really?
It did. It got under my fucking skin. I'm freaking out. I felt anxiety as I'm watching this. And
Yes.
I mean,
Not to mention, I mean, fuck Freddy. I mean, you don't want to go to sleep because you're going to be turned into a pod person.
yeah. So for those of you who have not seen it, shame on you, first of all. It's basically these spores come from outer space and they land during a rainstorm over San Francisco, and they grow little pods which are aliens. And what they do is, I guess if you're infected with that pod, whether through touch or whatever, you at a certain point you fall asleep and that pod grows into you and you die. You just shrivel it and disappear.
Well, because what it does is it makes a replica of you.
Right.
And then you shrivel up, and that one, pops up and says, "Hey,
Hello, I'm here. Well, it's I'm here.
Oh my god, yeah, because they have no emotion.
And and I love it because the movie had a slow build up. It was a slow, eerie build up. And again, as it's going on, once we're privy to what is going on, I start to feel the anxiety kick in. And come on, you guys, figure this shit out. I mean, the movie, again, it doesn't resort to any cheap jump scares.
Yeah, exactly. It's more psychological, more,
Yeah, and it plays on your paranoia, and the part, and that's the most effective factor, which was the gist of the original film back in 1956 with Kevin McCarthy, was the paranoia factor, because during at that time we had the Red Scare. We worried about communists taking over them. They look like us, they sound like us, they could be us, but they're not us. They're taking over.
Yeah, excellent metaphor, really.
Yeah, very clever metaphor for the communism that was spreading. And, what's interesting is that it was prevalent in the 50s, but even in the 80s, because we were at the peak of the Cold War in the 80s. So it was still relevant at that point. And that's why any other remake, and we'll go into the remakes later on, it just doesn't resonate the same because you can't relate, or at least modern audiences can't relate. I can relate because I remember the Red Scare of the 80s, the worry of the worry of impending nuclear war and so forth.
Right.
So, I mean, and then the pacing, it was great. What I love is that, the score. Fuck, the score.
Yeah, I love it. Classic 80s, soundtrack, really.
Yeah, and it had that edge of 50s sensationalism, but it was used sparingly. Movies like Invasion of the Body Snatchers and Them from 1954, they had these scores that were just fantastical and dramatic. But they use it sparingly, just at the right moments, and
exactly.
It spares the shit. It scares you when those things happen. Special effects, not many special effects.
No, except for that dog, that freaky ass freaking dog.
Oh, the dog with the man's face.
Oh my god, that was so disgusting.
That was fucking hilarious. When I saw they used that in the trailer, when I remember when I was a kid, and I'm like, And I'm watching the trailer, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, right? And then you see this, you show this dog with a face of a man. You're like, what the fuck is this? I gotta watch this now.
You know what? Though, no bullshit. That was horrifying.
It was. I mean, it was creepy. But but when the effects, the special practical effects kicked in, they were fantastic.
Yeah,
There's
not one moment did I say, you know what, that looks fake. It
right.
looked good.
It looked amazing because there's a part where our hero, which is Donald Sutherland, he falls asleep outside next to his pod, and the pod starts to crack open and become him. And you
Oh
see,
my God.
and the camera is right on this and watching it all its glory and its practical goop and nastiness. It was almost like
Mhm.
it was a Cronenberg moment almost, and just it was gross. It was horrible.
It
And
was
again,
a flower giving birth, basically.
yeah, and I loved every second of it. I'm watching it, and but yeah, it was just fantastic. I mean, top shelf,
Mhm.
top shelf.
Oh, definitely, yes.
And now one thing, it was a trip because I'm watching this for the first time. Brooke Adams, what was her name? Lily, Lucy, I don't know.
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth,
Mhm.
and Donald Sutherland's character. She's married to some dickhead.
Married? She's married, or is that her boyfriend? Living
I think
boyfriend?
it was her boyfriend, and
It
he
was
was
a
a
boyfriend.
yeah, he was a jerk, kind of
Mhm.
like whatever. And which he didn't change much once he became converted into an alien.
How she
Uh,
was able to tell the difference, I have no idea.
yeah, he was an emotionalist prick before, and then he's an emotionalist prick later. What's the difference? Except
Exactly.
except that he wanted to kill her or convert her. That was the difference right there.
Oh yeah, he gave her flowers,
What the fuck?
special flowers. Now,
Yeah. But
Jesus.
but it's funny because there was a spark between Elizabeth and Donald Sutherland's character from the beginning. You
Yeah,
see
you
this,
can see it. You can see it, and I mean, it's not something obvious, but you can see it.
yeah, yeah, and of course they end up, throughout this crisis trying to escape and so forth. They end up falling in love or becoming, and it's
Or
sad.
realizing, yeah, it really is. They realize how much they meant to each other.
And it's almost tragic because it's doomed. This blooming romance between Matthew, that's his fucking name. Okay. Make note, Matthew. Um, the relationship between Matthew and Elizabeth is blooming, and it's beautiful because you see their chemistry from the beginning. You go, they should be together. They're so good together.
Hmm.
And, but under the circumstance, they're doomed. They're doomed.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, what happened was just basically inevitable.
And that's another aspect that really had me on edge throughout the whole film. Because you watch films like, what is it, Independence Day? Give me another alien invasion film.
Mars Attacks.
Mars Attacks. Oh, God.
That's such a cool movie.
I don't know if we count that one, but okay.
Why
And okay, you know what, Kat? There was okay, I guess. And but you're watching it, it's this specific film, and like other films, you go, okay, maybe they drop the nuke on these things, or maybe they'll find a solution for this.
No,
As you
it's very dire. It's very grim.
there is no solution, and you're like, they're all fucked. They're done for, and there is no hope, and you feel that hopelessness as you dig deeper into this film. It's you're waiting for the inevitable events that they're going to die, they're going to be converted.
And I think another thing that was really, really sad is, first, the Leonard Nimoy character, he tells him, you're going to go to sleep and you're going to be reborn. They're going to be reborn into something that has no emotions, no feelings. And so that just that's when she just realized, oh my God, they don't experience love. And that's when I think the I love yous were exchanged between Matthew and Elizabeth.
Right. You know what, that's a good point. I didn't think about it. Yeah.
They're losing their humanity.
Oh man, so express it while they can. Oh
Hmm.
man, now I'm depressed. Man, that's sad.
It was really sad.
Damn. And what did you think of the cameo by Kevin McCarthy? The one,
Yes, I thought that was cool. That's the one that jumped in front of the car.
Yeah, he jumped in front of the taxi. And, and it's cool because the famous quote, like I said earlier, they're here, they're already here, you're next.
Mm-hmm.
That's an iconic, piece of dialogue. It's an iconic line that you hear it and you go, invasion of the body snatchers. And,
Mm-hmm.
and I like the choice. They didn't decide, well, who's going to say it? Should it be Donald Sutherland?
No,
No,
it
they
had to be
gave it
him.
they gave it to him, and I thought that was so. Although he gets hit by a car and killed afterwards, but
Hey, we didn't see it, so it really didn't happen.
yeah, it did happen. Yeah.
Oh, that was jacked up. That was really jacked up.
Oh man, but I loved it. I had a wide, huge grin on my face when he with his cameo. I thought it was awesome.
That was really cool. I loved it.
Yeah. And speaking of the cast again. Let's go back to the cast. You got
Aw.
Sutherland without saying. Jeff Goldblum. I don't know if this was his first movie,
If it
but
was, good lord. Yeah, he's a character.
yeah, you see his greatness as an actor already, and he was
Oh yes.
I mean, he must have been in his mid to late 20s, really starting, and he was already Jeff Goldblum. Because you see a lot of actors early on in the career, like say Johnny Depp or Jim Carrey, and you
Uh-huh.
see them in the precipice of where of their career, of their persona.
They're still growing.
But this motherfucker was born that way.
Yeah, oh my god. His paranoia,
Oh,
oh
and
my
I
god.
love. And Veronica Cartwright, who plays his wife, I love her work. She does,
Oh, you
uh,
know what? For me, the most iconic role that she ever played was I don't know her character name, but she was in The Witches of Eastwick.
that's right, the prudish church-going lady.
She was throwing up cherries all over the place in the church.
Oh my God, yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that.
she's
Well, for me,
awesome.
oh yeah, well for me, it's her part in Alien, 1978.
That's right.
Yeah. In fact, that iconic scene, that memorable scene where the chest burster comes out of John Hurt's chest,
Hmm.
and everybody's like, "Whoa!" Well, at that sequence, Ridley Scott told his cast, "Okay, this thing's going to come out of his chest, so act freaked out."
Yeah.
Well, he didn't tell his cast that it was going to burst out of his chest, and everybody was genuinely surprised. Veronica Cartwright, however, she freaked the fuck out. So,
Oh wow.
so that look on her face during that scene where she looks terrified was real.
That's gold.
Yeah, that's cinematic gold. So you got
Uh,
Cartwright, Leonard Nimoy, who plays an asshole of a psychiatrist, which
he
I
annoyed the
love.
crap out of Yeah, he annoyed the crap out of me.
Oh yeah, he's like, well, what we have here is mass hallucination and this and that, and maybe you didn't get enough titty when you were a kid. All this bullshit. I mean, you just gotta shake your head, but he was good. He was
Yeah,
really awesome.
exactly. I don't think I've ever seen him other as any other character other than Spock.
Yeah, I've seen him in a couple. You know what? What the hell have I seen him in? I don't remember. I mean, like you said, I only remember him
He's
as
Spock.
Spock. Yeah, and he'll always be Spock.
Definitely.
Yeah, but overall, the entire cast they turn in a genuinely honest and effective performance, and I think kudos and credit to Philip Kaufman, the director.
Hmm.
He gave everyone their moment to shine in this ensemble cast, and
Yes.
which is very difficult sometimes. When you got a cast like that, or sometimes one outshines the other, but they all really did their part.
Dude, in that ending.
Oh, the ending. Oh, so basically, at the end, everybody's fucking turned, right? Everybody. Donald Sutherland. No, what's the name?
Well, eh,
What was
see,
it? No,
that's the thing. No, that's the thing. The last we see is Donald Sutherland. He just blew up a bunch of pods and he's on the run. Now the sun
yeah,
comes up, and you see him sitting there at the lab that he was working in, and you're thinking, oh, he's probably playing the part.
that's
You
what I
know,
thought.
yes. You know what? The second time around, I thought the exact same thing. It tricked me twice.
Wow.
Oh my god! And then they see he comes outside and he sees Veronica Cartwright,
And she's like, "Oh, you made it. You made it." And he just looks at her. He opens his mouth and the screech comes out of his voice.
Oh,
He's like,
dude.
"Oh, I'm watching this. And I'm like, get out of here. Oh, that's
Oh,
messed up." And then
dude.
the camera zooms into his mouth and into black. And that's what,
That was fucking insane.
oh, I loved it. Again, Philip Kaufman, hats off to you. The guy has an amazing resume. I said, Philip Kaufman. Did you know he wrote the screenplays for Raiders of the Lost Ark,
Ooh, he did.
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, The Right Stuff, The Outlaw Josie Wales, The Unbearable Likeness of Being, The Wanderers. Just an amazing, amazing director and screenwriter.
Well, it showed. Yeah, this movie was awesome. It was really, really cool. Usually, I'm not really freaked out by, alien movies. This right here was badass.
Yeah, it was. And again, my hats off. They scared me, and I don't get scared that easily anymore. I don't. I welcome a good scare. I love horror films. I think recently I've been coming out more out of that closet of horror film, being a horror film lover. Actually, listening to the podcast Sinful Cuts with Sean and Shannon, they've converted me.
There's so much more that sadly, I have been desensitized. Very rare anything scares me anymore. The last movie that really freaked me out was Terrifier.
Yeah, well, that was more disgust.
Oh, no, not even that. I don't like clowns.
Oh, okay. So that must have been a lot of fun for you.
It was terrifying. So when I find that one movie that just hits that spot, oh man, that is awesome. So I'm glad you were able to find that movie. That still scares you.
Yeah, it really, really did. And yeah. So now some behind the scenes. And it was odd. What the hell was up with that cameo with Robert Duvall in the beginning of the film?
Robert
Do you
Duvall.
remember? Yeah, remember the priest?
Priest? Yeah. The priest, the one that was on the swing.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, it's Robert Duvall.
I want to say it was like a foreshadowing.
Yeah, but
it was just weird.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's something about it. I'm like, what the fuck is a priest doing there on a swing? They didn't really explain that.
Yeah,
It was random.
It was. In fact, apparently, supposedly, director Philip Kaufman, he asked Robert Duvall to do it for him, and he paid him with an Eddie Bauer jacket.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Even stranger, right?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, did you? Okay. I got one for you. The homeless banjo guy.
Okay.
Apparently, I don't know if I read this wrong, but was he the Jerry Garcia from the Grateful Dead?
You know what? He fucking looked like him. I don't know.
I did. I saw. I read it. I was looking on IMDb, and yeah, it says the homeless banjo guy was none other than Jerry Garcia from the Grateful Dead.
Get out of here.
Yep. He was playing the banjo and everything.
Wow, I did not know that. Well, here's another one. Remember when they're in the cab and the cab driver's driving kind of fast and kind of nervous?
Yep.
Don Siegel, the director of the original.
Oh shit! Trip out.
Now the thing about this was he was really driving the cab, and at this point in his life, he really was. Well, he didn't have great eyesight, and he didn't have his glasses, and he was driving really fast, and so that nervous look on Sutherland's face and Brooke Adams, that shit was real. They were like, it's like, Mr. Siegel, you're a legend. We love you, but can you slow the fuck down?
Oh my God, that is crazy.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool. And also another little thing, Kevin McCarthy, who, of course, he did the cameo as a crazy man. When they were filming that scene, there was a homeless dude lying on the curb. And, while they were doing the film. And I guess the homeless dude knew they were doing a remake. And he, just out of nowhere, he just yelled over at McCarthy and he said, "Hey, the original was better."
Damn. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and he just went the fuck right back to sleep. I mean, he's
Oh,
like
dude.
he haven't seen the remake, but he still loved the original.
That is so cool. There's a movie
Yeah.
critic and everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Now the night after the release, now I don't know if this was the studio who did it, but somebody the night after it premiered, they started placing like pods all over the city in LA, like the
I
ones in the movie.
I want to say it was the production company.
It must have been. I mean, people started freaking out when they saw this, and they thought they were real, and they started calling the cops, and they're like, "They're here! They're here!
Oh
They're ready!"
my god, that is hilarious.
But overall, I mean, to me, I seen the original, the '56 version. It's a damn good film. It really, really is.
Okay.
Classic '50s, alien invasion kind of film, but just a notch above everything else.
Mhm.
But the critical consensus on this one of the 1978 remake is that it's actually better than the original, and it is the best remake of all of them.
Wow, and I haven't seen the original. I haven't seen the remake, but
Yeah, overall, there are 4 other iterations of it, which I'll get into in a little bit. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I can't
Wow.
imagine a better version of this film.
And I think at this point, leave it alone.
Yeah, absolutely. But some dim-witted, Hollywood executive is going to come up with an idea. Say, "Hey, I got a great idea. Why don't we remake, Invasion of the Body Snatchers?"
Man, come on, let's get
Yeah,
original here. Yeah, look what they
yeah.
did with the fog.
Oh, let's not. Oh, God, that was a torturous experience.
It really
I
was.
I think that no, Drop Dead Fred was worse.
Dude,
I'm not gonna let that shit go. That was bad.
Jesus.
All right. So, budget, box office on the numbers. Budget at the time was about $3.5 million, which is about 17 million today, which
Mhm.
is a relatively low budget. It's not that bad.
Right.
And the box office at the time was $25 million, which is about 120 today.
Wow.
So it did really good box office when it came out. And yeah, it genuinely freaked out a lot of people.
Damn, and you know what? It did what it set out to do. That's awesome.
Yeah, loved it, loved it. So
Mhm.
reviews and scores. Gene Siskel, he
Uh-huh.
gave the film, all right, you ready?
Mm-hmm. That's it.
3 out of 4 stars.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and he called it one of the more entertaining films of that dismal Christmas movie season. So he,
Oh, this came out in during the Christmas season.
yeah, Christmas of '78. So,
Wow.
so IMDb has this sitting at a 7.4,
Mhm.
Metacritic 75, Rotten Tomatoes critic score 93%.
Wow.
And audience score 82%. Letterbox 3.9 stars out of 5. So good film, absolutely amazing.
Very well received, apparently.
Yeah, very well received. And again, it's one of those films that after I finished watching it, I had to ask myself, Joe, what the hell is wrong with you? Why haven't you watched this before? Just an incredible piece of filmmaking.
You know what it is too is when we think about 50s alien movies, we often think they're cheesy and so when we hear of a remake like that, we just don't want to give it a chance.
I think so. That might have been, I may have had a stigma like that for
Mhm.
me. So, but sequels, spin-offs, remakes. So as we know, like we mentioned, it's a remake of the 1956 film with Kevin McCarthy. It was remade, of course, 78 with Sutherland.
Mhm.
1993, it was remade again called Body Snatchers, which I saw and I didn't like.
Oh, I never seen it.
Yeah, and then there was a remake again in 2007 with Nicole Kidman called Invasion, and then finally in 2019, Assimilate. And
Huh.
I've never heard of it, never saw it. It must have been major dog shit. So
Damn. Now I'm
Yeah,
curious.
yeah, just to look them up. I mean, in fact, I did see the 2007 Nicole Kidman version.
Mhm.
Barely remember it. Didn't leave much of an impact, so must not been that great.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right. So let's go with our ratings on this. You go first.
Well, I thought it was a great, entertaining horror movie. I'm like I said, I love horror movies. This was fun. I didn't feel that it was cheesy in any way. Like I said, you hear Invasion of the Body Snatchers. You think 50s goofy.
Campy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, no, this was far from. I mean, it gives you kind of, I don't know, the vibes of what is that zombie movie? Night of the Living Dead. Where
Yes.
they're all out to get you. You feel the anxiety. Of the chase. I thought
Right.
it was an awesome movie. Loved the cast. I'm gonna give this 8.5 stars.
All right. Good score. Good score. Well, it's a true horror film for me. It digs deep into the soul. It's fucking terrifying. Outstanding cast. Solid direction by Philip Kaufman. To me, this was a masterclass in terror. I was just blown away. On the Filmjoe scale, I'm gonna have to give this 10 out of 10 stars.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice.
It really made an impact on me, and I'd have to say it's one of my favorite horror films now.
I think it's a shame that horror films aren't really acknowledged in the Academy Awards. I really
Well,
think
they're
that they should be acknowledged.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, well, the Academy, and all that. I mean, we watch it. They're a bunch of pompous pricks. You know, uh, they want to acknowledge sci-fi, fantasy, action, horror, and there's some horror films that are definitely Oscar worthy, in my opinion.
Yeah, I
And
mean, it takes. I mean, to be that convincing, with your reaction to be terrified like that, that takes some freaking acting chops.
yeah,
I
I
don't
mean, look,
understand that.
yeah, look, The Omen, The
Mhm.
Exorcist. I mean, just amazing stuff. So
Yeah,
it's definitely an amazing genre overall.
yeah.
So what do you say we jump into the next film now?
All right, let's do it.
All right. So next up, in a time of war, she found love and deception.
Come in.
Good evening. I'm Henry Baker.
I don't even know what you do.
I'm a writer.
A man with a past he can't reveal.
Very beautiful.
A woman with a future she can't imagine.
Justine, David.
Just now, yes.
Two desperate lovers trying to escape. He with his secret. She with her life.
A ruthless German spy trying to get out of Britain with vital information about D-Day must spend time with a young woman and her crippled husband. The film we're talking about is Eye of the Needle from 1981 and is directed by Richard Marquand. The film stars Donald Sutherland and Kate Nelligan. Wow, here's another one. Just an underrated beauty of a film.
I was actually very surprised. It was a bit of a slow burn, and I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit, a little bit bored.
Okay,
I'm gonna
that's
be
fine.
honest. I was really a
That's
little bit
fine.
bored, but I mean, I understand it. It was they were building a story. They were,
Mhm.
you have this guy. He's a spy.
Yeah,
And he's ruthless. I mean, he does not discriminate. So the first half, it's a lot of building.
yeah,
The
definitely.
the second half, holy shit!
It just tightens up and just it goes for it. I mean, the film is based on a novel by Ken Follett that was published in '78 by the same title,
Mhm.
Eye of the Needle, which I read and was was blown away. I must have been like what I don't know, 15 or I don't know how
Damn.
old I was. Yeah, a
Wow.
long time ago. Yeah,
Mhm.
and it's a damn good novel. And so I heard about the film. I'm like, well, I gotta watch it. And I remember the first time I saw it, I loved it from the first time, and it stuck with me ever since. So for those of you who haven't seen it, the general plot is Donald Sutherland plays Farber, who is he's a Nazi spy, and his nickname is the Needle because he uses to kill people a special blade that looks like a giant needle,
Yes.
and he just jabs it into the ribs and takes them out without remorse.
Hmm.
And in this, the movie starts off. He works with the British military, and it's privy to everything that's going on behind the scenes. Goes on. He almost gets caught. He kills his landlady. He takes
That was
off.
shocking. Yeah, that right there. I'm like, I was not expecting that. Sweet lady.
Yeah,
She's bringing him, supper on a tray, and she sees that the door is locked, doesn't get the hint, and pulls out the key and opens up the door. And what do you see? Him on the on what is that, like a radio,
like a
right?
ham radio. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Speaking in German, which you do not do. Yeah,
no,
she automatically realizes what he was, and well, he
yeah,
takes
and
off
he
the
just kind of and he's kind of like, shh, 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 calm down. And he's like and he just, without any emotion or any kind of expression, just stabs her
Yep,
and puts her down and moves along. I
I
mean,
was
just,
shocked.
yeah, yeah. And so the whole gist is that, again, he is a German spy and he gets a mission. And his mission is basically to find out the details of, I think it was Operation Overlord or something. I
Yes.
think it was,
Mhm.
yeah, Operation Overlord, which is the invasion of Europe by
Yeah.
the Allied
Normandy
forces.
was right.
Normandy, yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm. And so he needs to find out what's going on. And this is based, like I said, Overlord was an actual top secret mission,
Mhm.
and because there was only a couple of places that, because Nazi Germany, they knew the Allied forces were going to invade Europe, but they don't know how or when. And they
Mhm.
broke it down to two spots. They figured that they would come in from yeah, from East Anglia and
Mhm.
to the Pas de Calais, or it would be from the east coast of Britain to Normandy. They didn't know which route the Allied forces were going to take,
Mhm.
so it was up to Sutherland to find out, and he finds out, and he goes to the East Anglia where the invasion supposedly would take place to the Pas de Calais in France,
Mhm.
and he finds that there's a bunch of wooden airplanes.
Uh-huh. Yep,
It was
bunch of decoys.
a decoy. So now, we all know about history, the invasion of Normandy and Europe, D-Day was a turning point in the war. So
Mhm.
had the Nazis found out about this, it's game over for us.
And apparently he was supposed to take this information directly to the man himself.
To the Fuhrer,
Uh-huh.
exactly.
Yep.
So hence, because this is it's an espionage thriller, you have
Mhm.
to have the MacGuffin. The MacGuffin in this case is the secret
Mhm.
of the pictures, and he has to get this to the Fuhrer, and it just turns into a suspenseful thriller,
Mhm.
espionage thriller at this point. And it kind of reminds me, there's a couple of films that I had seen Hitchcock. There's a lot of Hitchcock in this film.
Mhm.
There's a couple of films called The 39 Steps and Foreign Correspondent, a couple of espionage films during World War II that Hitchcock directed.
Mhm.
It takes a lot of notes from there, and does so very, very well. Again, the first half plays out like a espionage thriller, and then it becomes suspenseful. Then you got the romance, because later on, once he escapes, because the Brits are onto him, they even know what he looks like, and he escapes. He ends up in this little village, and there's this woman there who's married to this guy who's paralyzed, who lost his legs or whatever. He ends up there, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just a stranger getting through, blah blah blah," and he stays there, ends up falling in love with the lady of the house.
And it's heartbreaking because I mean, you have this woman. She's lonely. Her husband is bitter about losing his legs.
Right?
As a matter of fact, yeah, they get into that accident like right after they get married. So
Yeah, yeah. He's driving like a fucking idiot after their wedding ceremonies, and they crash, and he loses his legs.
yes, and I mean, and she's so devoted to him, and and they have a little boy together, and but she's involved in this loveless marriage, and she's lonely, and she's a beautiful woman who has needs, and here comes this dashing stranger, and
Yeah.
through her door, literally through her door, because he's like half drowned in shit,
Right.
and a romance buds, and it's like, wow, it's very romantic, really.
Yeah, and that's another thing I love about Sutherland's body of work is that he always had this ability to fluctuate between. I mean, he was a charming, sweet, nice, charming guy,
Mhm.
but he's also a cold-hearted killer. He has the eyes of an assassin, of a killer, but he
Mhm.
also has the eyes of a gentle soul, and he
Exactly.
and you can see it work both ways throughout the film. You actually believe. I mean, look, the intro in the film, you see Henry Farber, which is Sutherland, and
Mhm.
he's walking around amongst military personnel and taking stock and everything and all this stuff. And
Mhm.
everybody knows him. Hey, Henry, how are you? Hey, how you
Yep.
doing? Hey, what's going on? And everybody likes him. He's a charming, nice guy. So nobody suspects him. And it's fucked up because there's this young kid who's trying to get into the
Oh.
military,
Mhm.
Billy.
Yep.
And so Billy's like, I want to get in, yada, yada. He's like, well, there's enough time for you to fight in the war. And he gives him friendly advice, almost like a big brother. Later on in the film, because this, it's like 4 years later, this happens.
Yep.
They're after Henry Farber and he's on this train. And the military's on there. They're trying to trap him. And one of the soldiers is Billy.
Yep.
And
That
Billy,
was,
and he,
oh.
oh my God. And Billy confronts him. They get in there. And he tells Billy, what are they doing here? Are they trying to trap me? Where are they going to try to get me? And he says, well, they're going to get you here and there. Okay, Billy. And he fucking stabs him like nothing.
Exactly. No emotion.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you know what kind of man he is. You know what he's capable of. But here he is, you know, he falls in love with this woman, and and she falls in love with him. They have this wonderful, great romance. She's being saved from sadness, really.
Yeah.
And
And, and,
oh
and,
god.
and let's give note to Kate Nelligan, who plays the wife. Amazing actress.
You know what?
Beautiful.
And I love how she was portrayed, not as a helpless ass woman. She
Right.
handles herself like a fucking boss.
Oh, big time, big time. And what can I say? I mean, she does fall in love with him. She really does. I mean, you got this, forbidden romance, and then once she finds out who he is, because the way she finds out is
Mm.
that well, Henry kills her husband. Okay, because the
Yeah.
husband is a smart mother. He's a smart motherfucker. He really does. He figures it out. He's like, I know what you're doing. You got pictures. Give him up. He has him a shotgun range, but the guy has
Mhm.
no legs. So Sutherland throws him off a cliff,
Yep, pretty much.
which is fucked up. And then later on, and he's like, oh, oh, he was drunk. He was drinking out with so and so. And then later
Straight
on,
face, no straight face. He lies to her face.
oh man. And then when she does find out that he's dead,
Oof.
she comes back. Here comes Henry, and she's like, oh, he goes, oh yeah, I just saw, your husband, and he was drinking. And she's like, wait a minute, I just found him dead. And
Mhm.
that's where you get the dun 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 moment. And it was,
And the thing is that she could have like fallen apart right in front of him and given it away. No, she held on to herself. She was very composed.
oh, I mean, she was fantastic. And what's awesome is that she realizing what's at stake here, and she has her little boy with her because she has a son.
Yeah, and
And
Mama Bear had to take care of business.
yeah, and basically, it's at that point she has to make a decision because she gets a gun, she chases him down, and spoiler alert, she does kill him. And we'll get back to that in a few minutes because that's an
Mhm.
amazing sequence, also.
Ooh, yeah,
Oh, it's heartbreaking, but
it is.
he loved her. He really did, but and you could tell, and this is the great acting ability that Sutherland had. You can see it in his face that he was torn between his duty to Hitler,
Mhm.
and his country, but also that he loved her.
Yep.
And, and he only knew killing. He didn't know emotions or love. He was a lonely man who only knew how to kill. He didn't know love until he meets her.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes down to it, for her, she had to make a choice as well. She loved him, but she had to make that choice, not only as a mother, but as a
Mhm.
patriot. A patriot.
Exactly. Oh.
And she gets him at gunpoint, and she's chasing him down, and she's begging for him to stop. And again, this is coming from a place of her heart of love, because she does love him, but she
And
knows
you
what she
feel
has
it too. Oh, you feel the conflict in her too.
Yeah, because he has a chance to kill her right before he got away. He just told her, you know what? He gets the gun from her or whatever. Sits it, I'm going to go now. Bye. He could have killed her. And this is how we know he loved her, because everyone else that he came across in the film that, jeopardized his mission, what did he do?
Needle.
Needle. He fucking stabbed him.
Yep.
But with her, he did love her. And that's sad. That's just tragic.
Ugh.
And it's even, there's a line that he tells her, the war has come down to just the two of us. And it's like, fuck. And it's
Yeah.
so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. And right there, he had a chance to kill her, but he didn't again. And that's where he takes off. And she was boss, man. She
Dude,
is
she got
a warrior.
electrocuted. She electrocuted herself for the greater purpose. Talk about being a patriot.
Oh, it was amazing. A very strong, solid female character that, with just utmost strength and just incredible. Which the first time I saw this film, I didn't see that coming. Well, I did, because I read the fucking book. Duh. But for most people, they don't see it coming, because, like you said, they expect the hapless female. Oh, you didn't. Most people, I'm sure, didn't expect this. That they didn't expect to see her turn around and say, "I'm going to fight for my son. I'm going to fight for my country, and I'm going to kill you. I love you, but you have to die."
Yep. Oh
Yeah,
my
great.
god.
I mean, yeah, and that ending is the way it builds up towards the whole climax at the end was very Hitchcockian. The intensity, the pacing, the suspense, it was just magnificent. Again, I'd seen this as early as maybe 6 months ago, and it
Mhm.
still had me at the edge of my seat.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah. It was literally cat and mouse. And even talking about how it ends, I still feel the heartbreak.
Yeah, it's a tragic ending, because
Mhm.
and like I said, he says, the war's come down, but just the two of us. And also what comes to mind is that, another place, another world, another existence, they could have been together,
Mhm. Yep.
but they're just on the wrong side. And wow. So now some behind the scenes of, now, as I mentioned, the director is Richard Marquand. He directed this.
Mhm.
He also directed another little film in 1983 called Return of the Jedi.
Yes. My favorite of the of that series.
Yeah. And it's crazy, because this is the movie that George Lucas saw that led him to hire Richard Marquand.
Mhm.
Yeah. Because he's like, yo, man, it was a difficult production, but he was able to finish it on time, on budget. And that's
Mhm.
what Lucas wanted. And he
Yeah.
got it. Just an amazing director.
Wow. Simply amazing. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's kind of sad, because Ken Follett was an amazing author. I mean, his stuff is just great. And this is the only film that got made into a theatrical film. All the rest, there's a few others that were done for television, but
Mhm.
this was the only one.
Yeah, it really was an amazing movie.
Now, there's a couple little things in there. For one, that were kind of like took me out a little bit.
Mm.
When Tom, the old man who had that little shack,
Uh-huh.
finds Sutherland on the radio. He's speaking German.
Right.
That wasn't Donald Sutherland speaking German.
No?
No, that was somebody else. They had to dub him, and I caught it. I'm like, wait, that doesn't sound. That looks kind of odd. Yeah, because his German wasn't that good or good at all. So they had to put
I was
somebody
like,
else's voice.
damn. Yeah, I'm like, damn. It sounds really, really convincing. Wow. Okay, I had no idea.
And one other thing that threw me off, because, okay, remember the train sequence?
Mhm.
And he's in one of the cabins, and he's with a bunch of sailors.
Playing poker.
Do you know who one of the sailors was?
No.
An actor by the name of Rick Mayall. Do you know who that is?
No, I don't.
He did a little movie called Drop Dead Fred.
Oh shit! Okay.
He was one of the sailors on there.
The name just went right over my head. Oh my god!
And you know what?
Wow.
He was great. Yeah, he was great, because he didn't speak.
Oh, dude, leave the poor guy alone.
I know the guy. He's passed away, but that's just cruel.
Oh, leave Drop Dead Fred alone already. Ah,
It'll take a while for that to get out of my system. So, but
Jesus.
but yeah, no, great film. So let's look at the numbers on this. The budget. I couldn't track down the budget for some strange reason, but it wasn't a huge budget.
Right.
But it did make about $17.5 million in the box office, which is
Mm-hmm.
about 68 million. So it did really, really well at the box office. It did well.
Wow.
Yeah. And now reviews and scores. Roger Ebert, he gave this movie 3 out of 4 stars and really admired the filmmaking overall.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, definitely. And IMDb sitting at a 7.1, Metacritic 61, Rotten Tomatoes critic score 85%,
Mm-hmm.
audience score 75%, which is really high. Letterboxd 3.5 stars out of 5. So another very well received film by Donald Sutherland.
He the man. He is the man.
Definitely. So now our ratings. I'll go first this time.
Okay.
So Kate Nelligan, who I wish I would see her more. I would have seen her in more films. She was outstanding as a strong, solid female character. Donald Sutherland, wow. So both of these as Forbidden Lovers was amazing. The pacing, the story was classic. It was old school Hollywood all the way. Excellent spy thriller romance, just amazing overall. I'd have to give this 9.5 stars out of 10.
Wow. Well, I agree with this rating. Yeah. I mean, for me, it was a slow burn. Um, at first I'm like, okay, all right, waiting for, wondering where this is all gonna go. But yeah, now looking back, it was an amazing movie. It was beautiful. It was God, I can't even find the right words, so I'm just gonna skip to my numbers.
Okay.
I agree with you. I'm gonna give it a 9.5.
All right. Yeah. It's just, it's old school Hollywood. The score, the
Yes.
editing, it's just a beautiful. I mean,
I'm
this
still feeling
film,
it. I'm still feeling it.
I mean, you feel heartbroken. You
Yes.
feel at the same time the good guys won, but and this film, you could go frame by frame almost, and it could have been done in the 50s the exact same way.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think definitely classic in my
Yeah, I mean,
opinion.
of course, some of the stabbing, the blood, and the nudity. Without that, but
You know what though?
you,
I think it was very tasteful. It was
oh, it
nudity, but it
was.
was very tasteful.
Yeah, yeah, it was beautiful the way it was
Mhm.
done. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just one of those films that it's a timeless kind of film. So, for those of you who have not seen it, you like a good suspense, espionage thriller with romance and deception. This is one you have to put on your list. It's a great film.
Yeah, yeah. Just be warned. In the beginning, it is a little bit slow, but stick with it. You won't regret it.
Yeah, it pays off in spades. It really does.
It
Uh,
does.
so now overall, my take on the legendary Donald Sutherland. I mean, he was just one of the most versatile actors out there.
Mhm.
He could play a goofy character. I mean, just look at the Animal House.
Oh, that's
He
right. He was in Animal House.
Yeah, and he was a complete psycho kind of goofy character in that. You look at Eye of the Needle. He is this ruthless killer spy, this really devious character. You look at an Ordinary People with Mary Tyler Moore, this compassionate human person with flaws. I mean, and the list goes on and on and on. The things he could play, Body Snatchers, just like you say, even in a shit film, you would go, yeah. Oh, do you remember him in Backdraft?
Oh, you know what? Very vaguely. I need to see that movie again because I really enjoyed that movie.
Well, his performance alone is worth the watch. Because it's about a serial arsonist who's
Hmm.
setting fires, and so Robert De Niro, who plays the fire chief, he goes to this infamous serial arsonist who's in prison to go get some insight, and that arsonist is
Mr.
Donald
Donald Sutherland.
Yeah, and he was an ex-fire chief who became a serial arsonist, and he's psychotic and really trippy. I mean, it's just amazing work, amazing. And it was a small part, but he stole the entire scene.
Oh, I'm
And
sure he did.
and to steal that from Robert De Niro, I mean, that's impressive.
Oh my god, he really was a gift to us all.
Yeah, absolutely. And now some recommendations of his earlier films. A movie called MASH that came out in 1970.
Mm.
Uh, great fucking movie. It was later made into a TV series, which was equally as good, which lasted like 11 years. I think like 5 years longer than the actual war, but it was still a great Backdraft, like we just mentioned. He did a movie called Kelly's Heroes in 1970. Klute, which was a whodunit. My favorite, and this is a guilty pleasure because it wasn't a great film, but a movie called Space Cowboys.
Oh, I've never seen that.
Basically, it's these bunch of retired astronauts, which is Tommy Lee Jones, Clint Eastwood, Donald Sutherland. I forgot who else was in it. And they're already old and retired, and they need to go into space again. Oh, James Garner, he was the other one.
Okay.
And these old guys have to get into the shuttle and go on a mission. Really good film. Not great, but I loved it.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I recommend that. And of course, 1978's classic John Landis film, Animal House.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Because that has a barrage of small roles that are just fucking hilarious.
Damn. Yeah. Well, such a big loss to Hollywood, but he left so much, behind. Yeah, I think that's awesome. What a legacy.
Absolutely. So, Mr. Sutherland, thank you and rest in peace.
Yes.
All righty. So, what do you say we start closing this down?
Okay.
All righty. So, next week, we're going to go into some films that they had intended sequels. So, we're going to go with sequels that never were. And the titles will be announced, probably announce them on Instagram. So, keep everybody stay tuned for that.
Intrigued.
Yes, the mystery continues. Yes. All right. Well, everybody listening, all our listeners, thank you so much for joining us. We really hope you enjoy the show. Please help to support the pod by giving us a nice 5-star rating. You can leave us a really nice review. That would be awesome. Or another way to support us is simply to just follow and or subscribe to us on Amazon, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Deezer, Audible, Boomplay, or wherever you get your podcast fix. Also, don't forget to drop by our Twitter. Well, we don't have Twitter, no. We used to have Twitter.
No. Does anybody still use Twitter?
I don't think so. Yeah, it's X now. But check us out on Instagram, TikTok, and check out our YouTube channel. That's where we have all of our current episodes on as well. Also, don't forget to check out our flash reviews that drop every Saturday. All these links, they're in the show notes below. You can also contact us directly via email to thefilmjoepod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you, love to hear your feedback. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, thanks again, everybody, for listening. I'm Joe.
I'm Daisy.
And this is the Film Joe Podcast,
where film talk happens.